Hey guys, it's Tundra again. Today, we're going for a drive. So, I want to talk about the Iran thing, seeing as the pedophile I fucking pay tax, that I'm forced to pay taxes to, decided it would be a funny fucking idea to attack a fucking mountain fortress on the other side of the fucking world, expecting that it's gonna fucking magically work. Now, here's the thing. Iran is going to win this war. Everyone watching this just left. I know. Okay, so here, get this. 3 main reasons. 1, America for the past 20 some odd years has been fighting insurgencies. This is going to be the first time since, I would say probably since Vietnam, maybe Korea, that we have, maybe like Grenada, maybe, that we've actually fought a standing military of a standing nation state. Unlike the Taliban, who were always on the back foot, the Iranians have factories. They got missiles. They have a spy network. They have factories. They have social media. They have infrastructure. They have hospitals. So on and so on. With the Strait of Hormuz closed, food prices are going to get expensive. And if there's one thing I know about my fellow Americans, is that Americans love to fucking eat. Which means, and as soon as I say that, I turn my head and I see this huge guy. He's like easily 400 pounds. He is passing behind me. Maybe you'll see him. So anyway, when it comes to the Iranians, all the cards are on their table. It's their home turf. Their home turf is a mountainous desert terrain. They have some of the most well-defended military bases, factories, power plants, infrastructure, etc., because they've been preparing for war for about, 10 to 20, 30 years now. They've been actively preparing, first and foremost. Second, with the Ayatollah now gone, and many of their other religious and political leaders now gone as well, they are going to rally around those people as martyrs. They are absolutely going to. I might be martyred here in a second. This guy's driving like an idiot. He's going the wrong way. Yeah. I'm talking about you. Fuck you. Fuck out of here. Welcome to Jersey. Anyway. So, they're going to rally around their martyrs, and it's just going to whip them up into even more of a frenzy. The Houthis will absolutely get involved. The Palestinians will absolutely get involved. Russia will absolutely get involved. Russia and Iran are tight. America wishes they had a relationship like what Iran and Russia have, because they are tight. They are tight together. They're really tight. Tight. They are tight together like Brazilians and their BBLs. So, to be honest with you, and America is alone. In contrary-wise, America is alone on the world stage when it comes to this thing with Iran. NATO refuses to back America on any of this. Germany literally said this is not NATO's war. No NATO power, not Iceland, not Finland, Denmark, nobody wants to touch Iran. Nobody in the EU wants to touch Iran. No one in Europe wants to touch Iran. They are warming up to China more than they're warming up to America, which I think is going to be the beginning of the end. And the thing is here's the thing. Now, I don't like this guy. There's like this Chinese guy on YouTube. I can't remember his name, but he predicted that Trump would win. I predicted that Trump would win, albeit a lot later than he did, because I thought, like, the moment I heard Kamala Harris say, "Oh, I love fracking," I'm like, okay, Trump's gonna win. That was the moment I was like, okay, Trump's gonna win. The moment she brings up fracking, Trump's gonna win. The moment she brought up fracking and said, "Oh, I love fracking," I knew Kamala was gonna fucking lose. But when it comes to his prediction about Iran wins, I believe. I mean, I saw that war in Iran coming since 2008. I thought it was going to happen under either Bush or Obama. I thought Obama, after he killed Muammar Gaddafi, I thought, okay, he's going to go after Iran next. I guess I was just a little bit late. Maybe the Trilateral Commission finally got to Trump. I don't know. In any event, I predicted that this war would happen, and I'm predicting right now Iran will win. And what I mean by that, it will be like what's called like a Pyrrhic victory. They will bleed America dry of war resources. The war will be massively unpopular at home. You can expect food shortages and prices of everything from gas to food to go up. You can expect every condition imaginable just being 1,000 times fucking worse back here at home. And we will have a rather bleak couple of years. It will be a worldwide recession. It will be, imagine the Great Depression of the 1930s, but way worse, and it will be worldwide. And on top of that, you will have to be dealing with the political consequences thereof, because there will be political consequences to this. Good evening, officer. Just a cop just sitting there with his fuck-ass vehicle. He's just sipping his coffee, too. He's just chilling. He ain't working. If I didn't have a conscience, if I didn't have a sense of morality, I definitely would have become a cop. So I can just sit around in jail at my laptop all day. But in any event, that's another thing too. Like America and Israel are going to get really close, which means that America and Israel will both become basically surveillance states. I mean, America already is a surveillance state, but the greater Israel that we're going to see pop up in a couple of years is probably going to be like from the Nile to the Euphrates, and it will be like this really horrible, like technocratic, I can't even say technocratic surveillance state. It will be a straight up fascist surveillance state. It will be a place where there are no elections. It will be pretty much a military dictatorship. The military will pretty much control everything. Everything it will be centered around the military. It will basically be a Jewish ethno-state. I hate to say this, but that's kind of my major critique of Zionism as a whole, is it took the idea of Lebensraum and kind of like took it on its head. I think a lot of it is internalized intergenerational trauma. I think it's almost a cultural trauma, really, for what happened to the Holocaust. And I think it's kind of like if I hit my kid might grow up to hit his kid, that kind of thing. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, I don't know. But at the end of the day, just how it is. It's just how it is. Just how it is, man. Just how it is. The crazy part that I've been thinking about, though, insofar as what Iranian victory will look like, is their government will be in shambles, but it will still exist. Like, it'll probably be like a military dictatorship for the rest of my life, but Iran will still be around. In 20 years, Iran will still be around. And I hate to say this, but I don't think America's going to be around in 20 fucking years. Hell no. Even then, America, last I checked, America wants unconditional surrender from Iran. The only way they're going to get that is if they just destroy everything related to the government and get rid of every last politician. It would be like if Iran invaded us and managed to, they would have to get rid of everyone who's serving in Congress, everyone who's serving in the military, everyone who's serving in any federal police agency, anyone who's serving as a head of anyone in the president's cabinet. They would have to get rid of everyone in the court, everyone in the Supreme Court and down, the government would basically just not exist. There would be no government. The highest government we would have would be mayors and shit. So we would have to, America would have to, it would basically be a mass culling. It would be a genocide, it would be like that. So I wouldn't say, I mean, obviously I don't support Iran. I'm an anarchist and I'm an atheist and I'm like pan. So like, I see this as reactionary infighting. This is a reactionary infighting. The only people in this who I have who I back are the working class people and like the Iranian Maoists or whatever, whatever Iranian Maoists exist. Those are the only people that I support in all this nonsense. Same with America. I don't support America at all. I support the people in America who are fighting ICE agents in the street of Minneapolis. Oddly enough, I went to Minneapolis recently, and I've been there, and there's nothing going on. People were acting like Minneapolis is a war zone. The most outrageous thing I saw was someone doing an illegal left and cutting off 2 lanes of traffic. That was like the worst thing I saw when I was out there. I don't know. Maybe I was in a good part of Minneapolis. I don't know. But the mill city I saw was chill. It was peaceful. There's nobody outside. Everyone's just chilling. I'm going over a very fucking bumpy road. I wish y'all could see this shit. This road is fucked. There's a pothole like every 5 fucking feet. Good lord. Whew. Now it's kind of getting better, but damn. Anyway, so Iran is going to win. America's economy is going to shit the bed. And I think when America's economy is going to shit the bed, that's when the revolution will start. It will be a case of people will not be able to afford food. And whenever that happens, that's when shit starts moving. That's when things get really weird really quick. That's all I'm gonna say. And the thing is too is that's like, I'll put it to you this way, like you're gonna see like brownouts, because the thing is like we're talking about oil, we're talking about energy. That means less electricity is going to be available. That means less food and fertilizer to make food is going to be available. Shipping costs to get food from point A to point B is going to be worse. Sorry that the sun is flashbanging you guys the entire ride, but oh well. At least I'm driving without the sun in my eyes today. That's always good. But anyway, at the end of the day, just how it is. Just how it is. So Iran will win, America will be in tatters and probably suffer some kind of revolution. Now the thing is this, I am, unlike most leftists, I am not a pie in the sky, oh the revolution is going to be flawless. No, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I know history. Whenever there is a revolution, especially if it's a reactionary revolution, which absolutely can and probably will happen in the US, because if I know Americans, they are not going to embrace communism overnight. They are not going to suddenly all become anti-fascists. If anything, if there is a revolution in this country, it would probably be more like the Iranian Revolution, but Christian. So what I think it'll be like this. The U.S. will have some sort of horrible, there'll be food riots, maybe another Hurricane Katrina, things like that. And at that point, it's going to just shit the bed. And it will probably end up being a case of, best case scenario, it'll look like Years of Lead. Worst case scenario, it'll look like Syria, Yugoslavia. Now, that being said, whatever it looks like, and I'm saying this because I'm a well-read feminist, and I've read feminist theory, and I am one of the few men who says I'm a proud feminist. And when I say that, I also mean trans women as well, right? I am not a TERF. Furthest thing from a TERF. I am no TERF. We love our trans people on this page, right? I gotta stop for a giant train that's going by. Great. So, it'll give me more time to talk. So when it comes to women's rights, here's the issue. Women's rights, 9 times out of even in quote unquote progressive liberation, like if there is a revolution, women's rights usually take a back seat. Even like a good example is the Soviet Union. by and large, it was good for women compared to the imperial Russia, but not by much, and those are kind of the exception rather than the rule. Like the revolution in Afghanistan, and even when Afghanistan went socialist, I distinctly remember that women's rights were quite, curtailed and whatnot, even before the Taliban took power. Now, even then, let's say it doesn't, right? Let's say for the sake of argument, there is a leftist revolution in America of some kind. We have Bernie Sanders as president, whatever. Or mass starvation makes, massive food hunger, whatever. The price of food goes up to the point that the average American now knows what mutual aid is, and we're all doing mutual aid shit. Okay, great. But here's the issue. It means women who cannot make ends meet will go back to tricking. And the women who go back to tricking will probably end up getting trafficked or worse. So the thing is that from there you have the issue of the disabled people, they're going to be the most vulnerable in this, and they will absolutely be made targets. And that's assuming that Trump, between now and the end of his term, whenever that might be, what's there to say that they don't do a federal abortion ban? Because they can absolutely do that. They can ban HRT. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They're the president. I hate to say that, but that's how it is. Because if they can get rid of the right to due process for migrants, what do you think they're going to do to you? What do you think they're going to do to people like you and me when they run out of migrants? I ain't stupid. I know exactly what they can do. So, with all that said, I think what will most likely happen, what that revolution will most likely look like, it will be, I think, worst case scenario, because, it can only go up from here, right? Worst case scenario, multiple systems start failing, multiple different factions pop up, and we have Syria 2.0. If that happens, that happens. Fuck it. It's what it is. At the same time, we'll probably be better off for it. I think, in all honesty, if that kind of Syria situation does happen, we will be looking at, give or take, about a decade. Best case scenario, decade, if not longer. It'll probably go on for 30 years, knowing these people. But the QAnoners and the sovereign citizens, all of it, they are going to have a field day. They're going to have a field day. And the thing is, too, is there's a lot. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. There are a lot more sovereign citizens, QAnoners, and well-armed and literally trained reactionaries than there are well-armed, well-trained, well-organized, Maoists in America. Like, I'm pretty sure there's probably more people who want president to be king of America in New Jersey alone than there are, like, the entire Maoists in all of Texas and Oklahoma and, like, the entirety of, like, Tornado Alley. Like, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat things. And the thing is, too, is when they run out of leftists, they're going to go after racial and religious minorities as well. So don't think for a second that, if you're like a black person who voted for Trump, don't think for a second your ass is going to be safe. You won't be. That being said, my plan, I'd fuck off. I'd leave. I'd go to Southeast Asia and never come back. I don't think they're going to bring back the draft. The draft is way too unpopular. If America were to do a land invasion, and I would say it's like 50-50 at this point, as of time of recording, March 20th of 2026, I would say it's 50-50. I wouldn't put money on either way, but if they were to do a land invasion, the moment American boots get on that ground, forget it. The moment a bunch of farm boys from Iowa and a bunch of Marines from California are getting sent back in boxes, forget it. That war is going to lose popularity. Trump will be Trump will lose most, if not all, of his support, and only the most diehard people will support him. And at that point, they will lose the midterm. The Republicans will definitely lose the midterms, and whoever runs in 2028 whoever's running Republican will definitely lose. That's assuming that Democrats don't just hand it over. Democrats are absolutely in the pockets of the Republicans. Absolutely. They handed it over with Kamala, and if they run Gavin Newsom, that's them handing it over again. When will leftists learn that the Democrats are not their fucking friends? To all my fellow anarchists out there, what the fuck are you doing? The Democrats were never going to run Bernie Sanders. They would, if they could get away with it and not get caught, they would have bumped off Sanders years ago. And Sanders is not going to be running in 2028, not at his age. No way. No shot. Good luck. Maybe we'll get, if we're lucky, AOC. If you're lucky and the stars align and Santa Claus exists, you'll get AOC. But unlike most people, I live in the real world. That isn't going to happen. And the thing is, too, is the vast majority of these leftists in America, they're not educated. Not educated. They're not people who've read theory like Vaush. Vaush isn't even a fucking leftist. I'm pretty sure he took up the mantle of liberal now or some shit. He doesn't call himself an anarchist anymore. But I know for a fact that he does. I know for a fact several times on his stream he has admitted to not reading theory. As far as I know, he hasn't. Hey, if he's wrong, hey Vaush, if you're watching this and I'm wrong, tell me. But as far as I know, he hasn't read fucking Conquest of Bread. I have. But unlike most people who've read Conquest of Bread, I also live in the real world. I know that we are very far away from Kropotkin's wet dream. We are very far away from, we have a library economy. We are very far away from that world. And we seem to grow further every day with our inaction, which is why I encourage action. Not direct action, just in general. This is what I tell every anarchist, and if you're a leftist watching this, if you remember anything from this video, remember this. The worst thing you can do is nothing. I don't care what you do. If it's direct action, direct action. If you're doing some animal liberation front shit, go right ahead. If you're writing to Congress, write to Congress. If you're going to go vote, go vote. Whatever you think will cause change, go do it. The worst thing you can do is nothing. The worst thing you can do is sit around on your ass while the fascists are making moves. The worst thing you can do is sit around and do fucking nothing. A fascist trained today. A fascist worked out today. A fascist fucking wrote to his congressman today. Have you done anything remotely like that? That's all I'm going to say. Now, that being said, for legal reasons, I do not support anything illegal. I do not condone violence. Blah, 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 blah. Disclaimer, hey, this is a parody channel, YouTube. Haha, in Minecraft. But that's about all I gotta say, really. And the thing is, too, is I think whatever unrest comes from America losing with Iran, America deserved it. America absolutely deserved it. Absolutely. The way America has treated me and other political dissidents, oh yeah, absolutely. Insofar as Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the others, I think what will happen with them, at least, is this. I think, personally, Donald Trump is going to pass away in give or take 2 years. I don't think he's going to live a full term in office. If he doesn't die in office, he will definitely not be around by, the 2030s. And this is assuming he doesn't go for a third term. I think it's on the table. I don't think it's likely. I would say, maybe a 24% chance. But I can see him saying, "Oh, well, I was out for a term or whatever. Or, oh, Biden stole the election, so I get a third term, whatever." He's going to make up some shit. He's going to do something to say, "Oh, I'm going to take a third term," or "I'm going to declare myself president for life," whatever. He eternal president, whatever. Or he's going to, run his son-in-law, Kushner. He's going to run Kushner up there or something. He's going to do something so that he can still pretend that he's in control. If he dies in office, assuming he dies in office, JD Vance. It will try to take power. People will hate on JD Vance. He will immediately lose power, probably resign within a couple of months, and it will just be a merry-go-around, assuming it's not a coup, assuming it's not like the death of Stalin and people are bumping each other off. Insofar as that, I don't know. I'd say it's a 50-50 on whether or not we're going to see Trump make it out of office alive. But what I will say is if he does make it out of office alive and we do have a remotely normal election, AI deepfakes notwithstanding, AI being unregulated in this country notwithstanding, we have a fair election. Again, this is very pie in the sky at that point. We have a fair and open election without a lot of AI drama, and it will probably, as it stands now, it's probably like people say it's going to be Gavin Newsom versus like JD Vance or something, both of whom are very unpopular. But I think out of the two, I think probably by a small margin JD Vance. But if they run like, I don't know, like if they run Cory Booker versus JD Vance, I think Cory might win, in all honesty. Cory is like way more down to earth than couch fucker Vance. But that's just me. But I don't know what the future holds, but what I will say is this is the future. I'm not going to bullshit anyone watching this, and I'm not going to bullshit myself. The future is going to look really bleak. I would say if you have women in your life, keep them close, keep them safe, because when shit gets bad, the first thing that comes back is patriarchy. Every time there's a disaster, be it Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Matthew, every single disaster that I've ever bore witness to in person, the first thing that happens is all the women folk, they all have to go hide somewhere, because the men will be out looking. I'll put it to you this way. The most accurate depiction on how civilization collapses and then rebuilds is from the movie 28 Days Later. Because every time there was a disaster zone that I've been to, or a third world country that recently got out of a war that I've been to, it was women who, I'll put it like this. It was like 28 Days Later. And what I mean by that is, in 28 Days Later, spoiler alerts, towards the latter half of the movie, the survivors find a military base. In this military base, there's a bunch of guys, and they're led by a commander. Now, this commander is not waiting out for help. He's not taking orders from anyone above him. He's just some lieutenant that managed to survive. All the men, including this lieutenant, believe, hey, there's no civilization coming back. We have to restart. So what they do to keep all the men in line, what does this lieutenant do to keep all the men in line? Capture women, give them to the men, keeps all the men in line, keeps the women in line, and they slowly rebuild society from there. They have to have that tyrannical, patriarchal control over women and gender and so on as a means to restart society, because that is all they know on how society works. And that has mirrored constantly in the real world from what I've seen of like Haiti post, Hurricane Matthew, or Belize post, I can't remember the hurricane, but post Hurricane Belize, or Hurricane Katrina, and how neighbors just turned on each other in Hurricane Katrina. It was terrible. It was tragic what happened in Hurricane Katrina. Syria, first thing that happened when Syria happened was, women didn't really have rights to begin with, but first thing that happened is all the police officers dropped their pistols and uniforms, and they all scatter into the civilian population, and a good many of them actually ended up becoming, members of Daesh or whatever, which is crazy, which is absolutely nuts. It's just fucking crazy. Hey, man, ACAB. So at the end of the day, that's where we're at. If you got loved ones who are disabled, LGBT+, people of color, any kind of minority, especially if they're women, if they're trans especially, keep them fucking close. And I'll put it to you this way. I have been around the block plenty. I have talked to plenty of old queers. I have talked to trans men in their 60s. I have talked to literal Holocaust survivors. I have talked to some old people who've been through history. Trust me when I say that when these ICE dudes run out of whoever, when they run out of migrants, they're going to come after Jewish people, trans people, whatever. They're going to come after the lesbian couple down the street. They absolutely will. Look at Renee Good. She was quite literally a suburban white mom in a lesbian relationship or whatever. She is literally like, that's a demographic of like 40% of my circle of people I see at my Pride Center, you know? Suburban white moms with a suburban white wife. You know, cis women love women relationship type thing, you know? No offense, just how they are. That's what they are. And it's crazy that's where it is, where now it's affecting the suburban white woman, you know? And hopefully this trend will not continue. Hopefully as a nation we can nip that in the bud. No promises. I will say this. When they run out of whoever, they're going to come after other people. And the thing is too, is if it's a religious thing, here's the thing. I'm calling it now. There's going to be a false flag somewhere on U.S. soil. They'll blame Iran and some lone wolf actor, blah, 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 and they will use that as a cudgel to go after Muslims and like Middle Eastern people. And when they're done doing that, or even without telling anybody, they will slowly and quietly branch out to other people. They will branch out from Muslims to some religious minority, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, whoever, I don't know, Orthodox people, atheists, whatever, Wiccans maybe. They will then branch out to like Asians and like Asians and like Sephardic Jewish people, or, you know, whatever, like non-white passing Jewish people. Or they will go off to political dissidents like communists and anarchists or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. You know, they will absolutely. No. When, you know, first they came for the Muslims, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't Muslim. It's like that. It absolutely is like that. And I remember like post 9/11, before the smoke even settled, people were going after Indian people. People were going after Sikhs. People were going after Hindus. People were going after anyone brown. Like you could be Hispanic, but the fact that you were fucking brown, that you would get shit for fucking 9/11. I remember that shit, plain as day. I remember because my dad is a black Honduran, and at the time we were the only black people. He was the only black person on that block. I remember this one time, and it was on Christmas too. I distinctly remember because it was on Christmas. We go to grandma's house, visit her on Christmas. We come back, and it's late at night, and dad's car is in the driveway, and there's a big fuck off swastika on the snow, just carved into his car. It was on the snow. It wasn't like any permanent damage to the car, but that was just fucking nasty. And I was like a kid. I didn't know what that symbol meant at that time, but like that was weird to experience that. So yeah, I know. Don't think for a second it's gonna go away. Don't think for a second. No. It's gonna be like 2020 all over again. I'm calling it now. 2030 is gonna be the next 2020. It is gonna be some bad shit. And like I've always said on this channel, if America exists in come 2033, it will be totally alien. It will be an America we do not recognize. It will be an America where it'll either be completely different in how we live day to day, like there's going to be rolling blackouts or some shit, or it's going to be, you know, there's no more elections, or, you know, some crazy shit. There's going to be some crazy shit. And the thing is all these predictions I've made, I hope I'm wrong. Genuinely, I hope I'm wrong. I hope none of this shit comes to pass, because I know how bad that shit is going to be if it does. As always, I'm Tondro. You've probably noticed my dude tattoo. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, it's still a little bit red. I had it done yesterday. Still a little bit red. I'm not going to tell you what it means. I'm not even going to tell you what language this is. This is a code that only me and a few other people are going to ever know. This is a secret. And you know how, I mean, Dracula was right. What is a man? Miserable pile of secrets. Well, I got one right here for you. I also got, I mean, you can't really tell, but I got him touched up. My pan pride bear, literally a pan, da bear. And he's next to a semicolon too, so, you know, I've been through some shit. I got another semicolon, like, right here on my arm. I also have this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but Transgender fucking opossum. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I guess I'm an honorary member now. I mean, this is a true story, and this is another like warning sign for y'all, for any trans guys watching this. This is a true story. Trans people in general, if you've made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you. Second, I've been profiled by the police once, and they think I'm a trans guy. Weird, huh? Guess it's the high-pitched voice. I don't know. Long story short, they found a transgender pride button in my backpack, and they were like, "Oh, well, his address goes back to a woman who has a similar." My birth name starts with a letter, and my mom's birth name starts with a letter, the same letter. So it's like, oh, he changed his name. He used to be. I'm trying to think. He used to be my real name isn't Zachary. He used to be a Zoe, but now he's a Zachary kind of thing, right? And they're using like she, her for me in the fucking police report. And I had the FOIA request put in for the body cam footage, and there's a little bit of plausible deniability because he was like scratching the body cam to fuck up the audio, but I can hear this cop saying as he's checking my ID in his cruiser away from me, and when I'm out of earshot, he mumbles to himself, "Oh, great, another mentally ill that we don't need in the community." He said it too. Whole chest full of air, the T-slur. Whole chest full of air, he says the T-slur. And then they're going to turn around and say, I'm the fucking bad guy. Fuck out of here. So yeah, no, ever since then, I've called myself an honorary trans guy because I fucking, the police got no motherfucking right calling me that. Fuck out of here. Yeah, I'm covered in tattoos and shit. I'm gonna get more too. So anyway, that's about all I got. Here's hoping I get this job. I'm actually heading to a job interview in about 3 hours. I got 3 hours to kill, and I'm just gonna sit here and chill. So if you watched this whole video, thank you so much. I'm sorry if it was a bit ranty and whatnot, but I just like to let the thoughts flow. Hope you like it. I don't care about viewership. I just hope someone watches this shit. Anyway, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. As always, I am Tondro. Peace out.